All right. Well, welcome to the Mo Mindful Show. I am so excited about what we're about to do tonight. So my name is Dr. Mo, and this is
LaMarr Taylor.
And we're going to be really hosting this conversation. We're going to have a very candid conversation with Pastors Calvert and Ra'chel Edison of Believers of Faith Ministry. And it's just couples talk. If you are married, if you are thinking about getting married, if you're in a relationship or even want to get into a relationship, you want to make sure that you tune in into this.
It can't be
seriously speaking. you want to make sure that you tune into this episode and share it out. So before we get started, we want to make sure that you like this page, subscribe, and share it. Like, subscribe, and share so that other people will have the same benefit that you will have on this lovely evening. So let me just welcome Pastors Ra'chel and Calvert again.
Hey, so good to meet y'all. Well, so good to meet LaMarr. I'm excited about that.
I know. And finally.
So it won't be a long time that we're going to be on with you all tonight, but we do want to just have this opportunity. So let me just pull up. Well, go ahead, Ra'chel and Cal, just introduce yourselves before we get started.
Well, we are Pastor Calvert and Ra'chel Edison of Believers of Faith Ministries. We have been married for 23 years.
Yes.
We have 5 children, 10 grandchildren, and 1 great-grand. So we got a lot over here, a lot.
Right.
Wow.
And we've been in ministry for 20 years. So we are excited to even be on this show with Morris and with Dr. Mo and LaMarr. And we're excited to even talk about relationships. We absolutely love relationships. No matter what stage you are in, we just absolutely love the dynamics of relationships and what you can learn even in a relationship that doesn't even last. You can still learn something from it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very good topic for us to be discussing. And I like the fact that it's not just married couples, it's singles, because a lot of times we don't teach people how to be single and what they should be looking for in relationships, and people that are even married and struggling, or people who are thinking of are getting ready to walk down the aisle. Let me make sure I'm ready, kind of thing. So I think this is a good topic to discuss.
Well, you still do all the talking. So, I'll just chime in what I can. But no, of course we've learned a lot over the 23 years we've been married, and we're hoping that we can share some of our experiences with you.
Yeah.
That will help you, and that will lead you all in whatever direction you're going in as far as the relationship is concerned. Again, we've experienced a lot.
Yes,
in the 23 years, but we believe that it's been a good 23 years.
Yeah.
And
we still learning.
We're still learning. We're still learning.
That's the awesome thing about it. Definitely. So
before we get started, Bo, I won't take over the show, but I would like to know how you guys met. And because we know that we're married, and most people may not know that you guys are not married, but I still want them to know like the dynamics of where all of this is kind of arriving. But it would be helpful to know, how did you guys meet? Because I'm interested to know.
All right, you start. Wonderful. Okay, so it was a very interesting meeting. So we started off in a mentorship program. It's called MMA and Mailbox Millionaire Academy, and that was back in July or May or something like that.
Yeah.
So we would see each other pretty frequently
on
Zoom
because we have the same class.
Okay. Okay.
There wasn't any direct interaction initially, but then we would have homework assignments too,
right?
And we would be in smaller groups. So I think the first time we actually talked was in a
Smaller
one of those
group.
smaller group settings.
Mhm.
We were doing some homework.
Okay.
And then
but we ain't nothing was happening then.
yeah, we just met.
We just met.
We were part of a group.
It was a setup. Okay.
Right.
From the master.
That's right.
And so after that, we our mentor was up for an award in New York. And
I'm from Connecticut, so close by.
So he invited everybody who was part of the mentorship program, if they could make it, to come to New York. This would be we called it a meetup, a mogul meetup. So I decided, well, I'm gonna go to New York. You know, I've been seeing this guy and he's mentoring me, and I'm paying this money. Let me go meet him in person and meet some of the people that I've been seeing on Zoom for several months. And so I went to that meetup. It was for a weekend, and the Sunday was the actual awards presentation. So she didn't come to the Saturday. We just had some social stuff going on Saturday. But then on Sunday she came, and we just were talking. We was kicking it. After the award ceremony was over, we were all sitting outside trying to figure out where we were all going to go. Like, there's people from different places, right? Yeah. So we were like, okay, well, what can accommodate all of us? And, you know, where can we go eat dinner? And because we were in Long Island, New York. So these mentors, they have a lot more money than a lot of us. So they looking at steakhouses and, you know, there's all kinds of things. But
I love it.
They were very indecisive. And so she and I were just pretty much
talking.
We were talking and jabbing about how indecisive and unorganized this thing seemed. Right?
Okay.
And so we, you know, we connected really on that level. We just conversing. And then we're both in education. So, you know, we started asking each other about one another, and we're both in education. Well, you know, I'm formally in education. She's still currently special education at that.
Okay.
And then she said she was writing the book.
Right.
And so now my antennas go up. Now at this point, even though it's only been, you know, a couple hours spending with her, I was like, you know, she cool. She's cool people. She cute. You know, like, all right. So we go across the street. There's this restaurant over there. We're supposed to have like an after event. We went over there. That wasn't really much of anything. But she and I were just kind of clinging to each other at that point because we had already kind of connected.
Yeah.
And then, so long story short, after that, we kept in touch. Well, I had to go. I was staying in Jersey. I would have to come from Jersey to New York to do these things because I got a hotel in Newark. So she was like, well, call, you know, Mo, make sure you call and let us know you made it. You know, and I thought that was kind of cute. Like, you know, we just met.
But that's how I am, you know, like I know he's traveling. That's with anyone. So I was just like, make sure you let somebody know when you reach, you know, when you reach your destination. So, you know, I was just trying to be nice.
Especially for me. It wasn't
I was trying to
be he read more into the niceness. I got you.
So, you know, so we connected. I told her I'm home. I made it back to the hotel. Well, no, she didn't even. I think I texted her or something.
And I fell asleep.
She didn't get the message till the next day. I could have been dead or something. You know.
She was real worried, wasn't she?
Right, exactly. So we kept in touch, and
help me with my book.
And yeah, so back to the book. So she said she was writing a book, and so my antennas go up because you all know I write books and I publish other people's books. So I'm like, well, you know, if you want, I can take a look at your book, and because she had already completed it, I said I could take a look at your book and just, you know, just kind of tell you what I think or whatever. So she gave it to me. And she was like, well, what do you think? And I was like, well,
it needs some work.
it's not ready yet. Like,
right.
And so,
which was good.
That put us in communication because now I'm directly
every day
mentoring her on this book.
Right.
Right. Gotcha. But the book is about her. Well, a piece of her life. Right. So that gave me inside view of who this person was. You know, we met, we talked, and now we talk on the phone every here and there. But I'm seeing some very intimate stuff about her life that she, she dealt with.
That's good.
So, so I'm like, kind of falling for this person, like, well, not really falling at that point. It's more like I'm getting to know her, like, I really know her, right?
Yeah.
And
right.
as we conversed, because in her book initially, she didn't really want to spill the tea as much.
Yeah, you didn't want. I don't want to hurt no. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to say my whole life story because I was still trying to be tactful and not, talk about, the skeletons in my family and stuff like that.
And everybody knows exactly who you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to be tactful. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm with you.
But he pushed me.
But I was like, but nobody knows any of this stuff. Like, what made you feel this way, and how'd you address this, and just pulling more stuff.
He pulled it.
Yeah.
He pulled it.
And again, in our conversations, I'm really getting to know her. It's not exclusively book. I'm almost interviewing her, which is a point I would like to say to people. Like, when you dating,
you need to interview.
You should be interviewing.
Ask a question.
You are.
Yeah.
You should be interviewing. So I'm interviewing her essentially, and at this point, I know I like her.
Right.
And it's over the course of several months.
Uh-huh.
And then I made a couple trips to Connecticut to visit with her, and you could tell them about the first trip.
So I'm a singer of a lead band it's called Old School 203. Okay. It's an oldies type band, and so I do a lot of gigging, and so this particular time I had to do a gig for a concert that is thrown every year. Well, actually, it's a fair. It's called the Oyster Festival, and so this festival is a yearly thing. So my band, we normally sometimes perform on the stage at night. And so I was just, telling him about it. And then he started asking me all these questions about it. Saying, why, because I've been by myself, Ra'chel, for a long time. So you know what I mean? So I've been single for a long time. I think, honestly, I'm 48. So I think I've been more single than I've been now in relationships. I took time for myself to be single. I didn't want to keep messing up, dating the same old joker. So I just stayed by myself. So he started asking me all these questions, and I kept like, why are you, what did I say? Why are you asking me all these questions?
Right. And I was like,
it's just an outside fair. Okay, so
and else tell about it, right?
And he's like, how much does it cost? Is there an admission? Is this and this and that? He popped up for one day to watch me perform.
Wow.
Right. And I still was like, I was like, because I've been by myself for so long, and I was focused when I entered this mentorship.
Yes,
I was in a season of, okay, LaMarr, you're gonna stay focused. You're gonna get your LLC. Just focus on your child. Maybe your child will experience a great love, but you're gonna be business. This is it. This is your business, right?
Yes.
Wasn't even thinking about a relationship. Wasn't even on my radar no more. I was just driven, right?
Yeah.
And so here he comes, and you kind of messing up my plan, right? Right, because my plan was to stay this is it. I got businesses, I got a book, I got things coming, and
I got things to do.
Right, I got things to do. And then when he popped up, I was kind of a little like, oh, nah, I got to entertain him. But I didn't. When he came that day, I did pick him up from the airport. And when he came, he was like, okay, can you take me to a Staples or something? I was like, okay, we have a Kinko's. We went to Kinko's. He was creating, what was those? The little bookmarks of my book that was about to come out.
Wow.
Of my book, and information of me on the back and stuff of the book and everything. Because while I was singing.
No, that night we made flyers.
Oh, we made flyers. That was flyers. Or he made little flyers, with information. And while I was singing, he was passing it out, promoting my book.
That's awesome. Wow.
And so I was just like, still, because this head is sometimes can be.
Oh, I look, I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I still was like, he live all the way in Ohio. Nobody got time for that. Like I was like saying all this stuff.
Yeah.
But my daughter is in her 20s. She's 23 now. And so she looked at me and she said, "Ma, you don't even have people from Connecticut come and promote your stuff."
Yeah.
And nobody is doing that for you. You better think about it. That's what my daughter said to me.
Yeah.
And when I was just like, okay, and then we still continued, and he only came for one day. He went back home the next day, and we still continued to work on my book. And then I think when he came back out for my book launch.
Okay.
And he was giving me some instructions. He wasn't gonna come. That wasn't his, but he was giving me some instructions on how to promote my book and have this book launch. And my face was so confused because this is all new to me, new territory. And I was just like, oh Lord, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? And he looked at my face and said, I'm just gonna get a flight and I'm gonna come out there. And he came back out for my book launch. And that's when I knew. I said, yeah.
Talk about it. Yeah.
I better stick with this one.
Yeah.
So but it took me some time. It took me a little bit more time.
Me too.
Well, that's fine.
Look,
but I got it.
LaMarr, LaMarr, it took me some time too.
Oh, okay, good.
And when you was talking, I said that sound like me because I asked God several times. I said, "You sure?" Because I was like, "I'm good, God." I'm like, "Yes, I'm okay." Like I got this single thing down together. I know I'm dating myself. Like just let me know. And I literally asked God. I said, "Look, I don't be listening after nobody else's man. Like if he ain't mine, just tell me he ain't mine, and I'm good. I'm gonna be all right." I mean, I wanted to know to the point where I asked God. I said, "God, you are so powerful. You can write it on a piece of paper." I said, because what I'm not going to do is waste my time in another relationship. Again, I was like, you can write it on a piece of paper. I believe that you can do it. He didn't do it though, but he did confirm, but I was the same way. I was out here, I was doing my own thing and he popped in. And then it was like, well, where did you come from? Like, and the funny thing is we was at the same church. But I never paid attention to him. I never thought about him or anything, And then here he come blowing in the wind, talking about some God told me you was gonna be my wife. What? Well,
the crazy thing is that like I didn't know her very well.
Really?
God, again, God showed her to me, and I was confused. When God said, "Okay, that's gonna be your wife," I'm like, "Huh? Her?" I was like, "She bougie, right?" I was like, I literally said, "I said, you sure, God? Like, she bougie." You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't stop thinking about her, and I went to my pastor and talked to him. He told me prayed about it some more, got more confirmation, and the first conversation I had with her on the phone, I told her she was gonna be my wife, and then she was like, "Oh, really?" That kind of threw me off.
He thought I was gonna be like, "Really? Okay, yeah, when we get married."
Right.
But I think I believe after about 2 weeks, we were making wedding plans or something like that, and within 8 months we were married. And I didn't initially believe in like fast engagements, or short engagements. I really didn't, but God turned it around and put it right back on us, and we had people who questioned us. I mean, like people close to y'all just meet each other, y'all just gonna get married, this, that, and the other, and we like, because we were confident this is what God had shown us and told us, and it's been 23 years, and it's been a blessing. So,
And look, the funny thing is, look, we was preparing for our wedding. I ain't even got no ring yet.
That's right.
I ain't even got no engagement ring.
I hadn't even officially proposed.
And we was playing our wedding.
All right, so
I think we got you proposed like when in like March.
I don't remember.
Like March. We was already planning our wedding in like December, maybe January or something like that. I had no ring on my finger, nothing.
And but I mean, people close to us was questioning us, and it was crazy. I remember, I don't want to get off track, but we was eating dinner at her mom's house, and there was another couple that was over, an older couple, and her mom. We were sitting around the table, and that's when they started questioning us. And I'm like, this sounds like an interrogation. And so I stopped. I pushed my food to the side, and at this point I'm like, okay, bring what y'all got. If they asking these questions, I just meeting, and by the time we was finished, all they could say was, oh, okay.
Right.
Her mom was like, well, you got to talk to her father, and so I talked to Dad, and he was like, look, man, he said, if Ra'chel is agreeing to marry you, he's like, you good. He's like, because she's my daughter, she has my back. Sometimes she be the only person in the house that has my back. Like, if she's marrying you, you good. And that was it, it's been 23 years, so it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. Yeah,
that's good.
So it's funny, Ra'chel, that you should mention that. Well, both of y'all should say how this all happened. Actually, as you talked, I remember hearing it, parts of it. So some of this is new to me, but and I shared some of this with you all already. So for disclosure, I was married for 22 years and got divorced in 2018.
Yeah.
And now I always knew I was going to get married again. Didn't know when, where, how, whatever, but I just knew I was. But in the meantime, I'm like you. I'm dating myself. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying life, right?
Yeah.
Traveling, y'all know.
Yeah.
I do whatever, right? And when I met her, after we started talking and getting to know each other, but it was a very short amount of time. Like I went back and forth to Connecticut. I've been to Connecticut 4 times. I was going every single month.
Wow.
This is her first time in Ohio.
Okay.
Wow.
And so I went 4 times plus that New York trip. So 5 times in 5 months in a row, I was in the Northeast.
Gotcha.
Right.
Right.
But it wasn't just because I was courting her, even though when we had a conversation, she was like, I want somebody to court me.
Me too. Yeah. Open the door. That's chivalry is not dead.
That's right.
And I was like, all right, I got you. But, but I said, I dug up this list I created in 2019, October 2019. I wrote exactly what I wanted in a woman.
Wow.
And I'm big on writing stuff. Well, I won't. Let me not lie. I'm not big. I like writing stuff down.
Yeah.
And so I wrote down. My friend Larry and I, we wrote down exactly what we wanted in a woman. And I put my ideal woman. And so after we're having this conversation, I pulled this list out. I dig it up through my emails because I had sent him a copy like years ago. I didn't know where my copy was, but I was like, I just looked up Larry, an ideal woman, and I finally found it in one of my emails. And so I sent it to her. I said, LaMarr, read that list. So she started. First of all, let me back up. When I read it, I pretty much cried. I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
It was like 25 things or something on here. And I was like, dang, this is her. Right. So I sent it to her. I said, LaMarr, check your email, read that list. So she started reading it. She got to the bottom and she said, that's me.
Wow.
She said, except one thing on there. She said, everything else, that's me. I said, that's right. I said, so at that point, I think I said, you're my wife. You know that, right?
And I was like, no. I know the list. This is the list, but I'm not. No, I don't think so. I'm not there yet.
Right.
It took me a minute, but he knew.
Me too.
He kept saying, okay. I said, no, you need to learn how to be my friend. He kept saying, okay, I'm going to be your friend, but just know that I move with intention. I kept saying, oh, okay.
And I said, so a relationship is a friendship.
Right.
So I said, we're going to have the rest of our lives to be, we're going to be doing friend stuff all of our lives. So there's no period you can say, well, let's be a friend for this amount of time. And then now let's move on. I mean, if that's how some people roll, so be it. But I was just like, but I want to marry my friend. So we're going to be friends,
Yeah.
So that's, that was my approach. And having gone back and forth, even the actual first time, me and her daughter hit it off really well. And she told me, she said, my daughter is very discerning about men. And she told me that same day that she likes you. And she told me to my face that same day.
I was blown away.
Wow.
And I jokingly, I was like, I'm gonna marry your mother. She said, "Oh, really?" And I mean, she wow. And so I was like, all right, I got that approval. And then she told me, because they had a gig the next day too. And what your band tell you?
And now my band is I'm the only female, 5 guys, and they were like, oh, the next day, I like that Mo. Now they never talk about anybody that I may have dated or any. But it was like that Mo, I like that Mo. And my godfather is the drummer, and he was like, I like that Mo.
Yeah, see,
he's like, that Mo is concerned about you. That Mo is the one that was out there putting our flyers. That Mo is the one that was taking pictures of each person in this band and promoting us. That Mo, like he was, and I was just like, I was still. He was like, I know you're kind of hard headed. I know it's gonna take a minute for you, but I'm just telling you, he's concerned about you.
I think it take a minute sometimes because you don't want to be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Like if I took all this time and I waited and I spent that time to take care of me and, get me together. And then here he come out the win. Like I don't want to be disappointed. Like I want to make sure, it's that shorty, they have, that more of a shorty than I know what I've been through. So knowing what I've been through, I wanted to make absolute sure. I was like, this is it. I said, if I get married, this is it. Like we're not playing no games. Like it's till you die. And I tell him that all the time. When he get on my nerves, I say, well, the only way out of here is one of us gotta die. So you're gonna die or I'm gonna die, but one of us gonna die. That's the only way we got out. That's the only way we got out. One of us gotta die. And we already banked on it need to be him first. He need to die. If one of us die, he gotta die first. Right. He's gonna make it. I don't know who I can have come take care of him if he die. If I die first, he gonna make it. He might as well die the next day. So we already talked about it. We already made a plan. And he gotta die first. So and one of us gonna die though. That's the only way we're gonna make it out. But so I wanted to be sure.
Right.
So I get that. I ain't got time to play.
And all truth, in reality, so if you look at statistics, a lot of couples who've been together for a while, when one of them passes away shortly thereafter, the other one does too, because they die of a broken heart first and then physically. So I mean, that's interesting that you all, I mean, yes, it's joking, but I mean, it's real. It's definitely real.
Now, if he died at 60, I might got a little more time. I might still look good at 60. I might be all vibrant in life and stuff. And like, I don't know, I might mourn for like 2 years or something like that. But then I'll be at 62. I might be like, I think I'm ready to get back out.
I'm a hunter.
He's like,
come back and hunt her.
You're gonna hunt me.
You're gonna hunt the house.
Come back and hunt her.
Y'all mess.
So, how would you all say that? What's been the foundation of your relationship? How'd you stay together for 23 years?
Well, first and foremost, and not even to sound churchy or anything like churchy, but Christ as the head of both of our lives.
Yeah, definitely.
First and foremost. Yeah. Okay. First and foremost. Aside from that, we're very truthful with each other. I'll say that. We know how to deal with conflict. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is that, like, I know sometimes as men, it's hard for us to admit when we're wrong sometimes and things like that, But what has helped us is that, if we have a disagreement or something like that, we're able to move past it because we're able to say, okay, I was wrong, or okay, she was wrong. And we move past it and don't dwell on it. And the next time we have a disagreement, so we're able to move past it. Now she's better at it than I am, because sometimes, we'll have a disagreement or something like that and get upset, and I'll still want to be upset, but she's walking around and still laughing and joking, and I'm like, look, I still won't be mad, but I can't be mad by myself, but for so long, and so finally, I'll let it go. And we're able to just to move past it, and let it go. I think that has helped a whole lot. Again, we don't dwell on things, really. We'll deal with it and we'll let it go. And again, we don't come back to revisit it. Once it's done with, it's done with, and I think that has really helped us to maintain. We very rarely argue. I'll say that, and even I wouldn't even call it arguments. It'll be a disagreement. We've had maybe one or two,
like dog out,
screaming and yelling. But that's nothing out of 23 years. And it's because we respect each other. I love her as my wife. And I always said that. When I got married, I'll treat my wife right. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, of course, I was one of the typical males, running after women and things like that. But I said I wouldn't do that when I got married, and so I honor her for my wife and being who she is. Now, that has really helped us to make it 23 years. Yeah.
And going back to what you said, when you say, not to be churchy is about, God centers us. I use God all the time. Like I get mad at him. I push him to the side. I be like, God, the one that you gave me, you need to go. You need to go talk to your child, because I don't know what's going on. Like I literally take him back to God. I make sure he know you gave him to me. So since you gave him to me, you need to whisper something in his ear, because he ain't listening to me. You need to get him straight over here, because it's something ain't right, So when we talk about being centered in Christ, like I literally go back to God. I'm like, because I know God gave him to me. So if I know God gave him to me, sometimes I have to look past him. Like I'm like, okay, God, I don't know what you working on in him, but he need more work. I need you to work it on out. So I literally do. I take him back to God. Sometimes I can have a conversation and I'll talk to him, but some things I know it may not be the right timing to talk about, or sometimes it may not be meant for me to discuss it with him. God may show me some things about him, and I will discern some things about him, but it's all sometimes about timing and when it's appropriate for me to bring up those conversations or be able to dig deeper, because a lot of times my husband will tell me, he'd be like, you can't counsel me. You right. I can't, but there are times when I know stuff, and God has given me that discernment and that wisdom to know things, but it's all about sometimes timing. And I think sometimes people have problems with communication because they don't use discernment in timing. A lot of times, sometimes we can't talk about it right now because you're not in the right headspace. You still upset about it. You still dwelling on it. Like we may need to take a break and come back to this conversation. And there's times like that we've had. And I'm like, okay, we'll talk about it later. Because you can see how the conversation is going, and we're not going nowhere. We're gonna end up right back at the same place, or we're gonna be more angrier than we were before we even started the conversation. And so sometimes you have to take a break, table it, and be like, okay, I make appointments with him sometimes, and I tell him what the appointment is about. I call him and like, okay, what is a good time for us to talk about A, B, C, and D? Is it Tuesday? What day you gonna be in the right? Because if I could prepare him. That mentally we're going to be talking about this thing or this issue, then he's already in the headspace of, he's not defensive, he's not going to be, he already kind of can think, and then it gives me time to prepare what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, and gives God time to prepare him for what may happen, what may be said, and so I will set appointments with him. Because sometimes he don't want, like after church, he'd be like, look, we just left church. I don't want to talk about church. I'm still in church mode because I'm like, we didn't talk about the church stuff yet. So sometimes he don't want to talk about it because he didn't sat up, he didn't pray all night, he's worried about his word, and he didn't preach the word. After he preached, he don't want to talk about nothing else. So I said, okay, what day can we talk about it? Can we talk about it on Tuesday? What's your Tuesday? So sometimes you got to make time and you have to prepare for those conversations. You know what I'm saying? And go to be able to allow yourself to go deeper. You can't go deep all the time. You just can't, because and sometimes you got to chunk it. Like, okay, let's talk about this, and then okay, I think we got enough for now. Let's come back to it a little later and go maybe a little bit deeper into it. And so I think us having that.
Well, you bring a good point with again, another tool that has helped us to make it is open lines of communication. We do good with communicating.
Yeah.
When we do marriage counseling, we split up in different sections, and one section we spend a lot of time on is communication. No business, no public service, no police department or fire department, none of them can operate without having proper communication. They can't talk to the police out in the field without communication. They can't send out messages without communication. So it's the same thing in a marriage. A marriage has to have good communication, and it has to be both ways. Again, sometimes I don't want to talk, but at some point I know I have to talk. And so we do good at communicating, at talking through things and talking to each other. That has really helped us.
Right. That's good stuff.
Right. Well, first let me read the scripture. So Ephesians 4:26 through 27. This is from the Message. It talks about you do well to be angry. So it's all right to be angry, but don't use your anger as fuel for revenge, and don't stay angry. Don't go to bed angry. That's the don't go to bed before while you're angry. Scripture. And don't give the devil that kind of foothold in your life.
Exactly.
So that your communication is key. And we had a recent
Tiff.
We did.
And
we did.
It happens.
And I was in my feelings, and so I didn't want to talk about it immediately. And it was through a text. So let me say something about text messages. Text messages. People can't see facial expressions, don't know the mood behind it, and even if it's meant to come out one way, depending on how you receive it, you could be messed up over a text. So we were texting back and forth, and she kind of sensed that, I was angry. And so my last message was like, all right, talk to you later. Peace.
And because y'all was arguing with Steph, that piece this time meant a little something different than the normal. Piece.
I had to call him up.
She called me like 20 seconds later. Was like, do we have a problem?
I said we need to talk because that's the one thing I think, because that we're almost 50. I'm almost 50. I'm 48, right? So like I just to the point, I'm like, I want a good partner where we can communicate, and I do think I have that. Yeah, you know what I mean? I just don't want to keep dating the same old type of person over and over. There has to be growth, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like I think we do have that, which is good, because when I called him up, I said, hey. He said, I'm still me. And so he goes, hi. I said, I didn't like that exchange that we just had.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it? Can we talk about it?
Absolutely.
And he said, yeah. And so then we started to, work through it. Right. And which is good. And as soon as I hung up, I could tell he was still kind of, in his feelings. But before I hung up the phone, I had to go and I said, I said, I love you. All right, I'll talk to you later. And I could tell he was still in his feelings, but at least I'm saying I love you. Like,
absolutely.
I'm done. I know you upset.
We dealt with it.
Moment, but I'm not gonna hang on to it. So I love you.
Right.
I'll talk to you later. And then when he came back, and this is what I like about you, because you own it. And when he came back, he called me back, and he was like, babe, I'm sorry. And I said, well, what you sorry about? He said, because I was in my feelings, you know what I mean? And I, and I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to, I still wanted to be mad, but I could see that you were softening up the blow by saying, I love you. And so he said, I had to get over it. And I just wanted to apologize because you shouldn't have stayed in his feelings that long. But,
it helps when we can admit that we're wrong.
Yeah.
And move past it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And okay. And again, it may take a while to admit it, but at some point you realize, what, like you said, he was like, what, I thought about it. I was wrong,
Right.
And I think that just helps to soften the blow. It helps to get past it, but it helps you to move on. And again, we're not going to go back and revisit this. Like you said, you were done with it. You know what I'm saying? You said, I love you and I'm done with it, and that's what we have to do. That helps us to, to progress in our relationship.
But what? A lot of times, sometimes people just don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if you deal with it right away, then we ain't got time for it to linger. The more it lingers, then the worse it gets. I can't do that walking out. You ain't walking out the door. We not walking out the door. Pascal tried that one time. One time I didn't let him leave the bedroom. He was so upset with me. He was so mad. He was getting ready to walk out that door. I said, oh no, we not playing that. He had his bag packed.
I was ready to pick her up and move out of the way.
And you should see Ra'chel. Ra'chel about this big.
Ra'chel little.
He had his whole bag packed. I said, I don't care where you go in this house. You can go to the other bedroom. You can go downstairs on that couch. You can sleep on this floor. You ain't got to sleep in the bed with me. I said, but we're not doing that walk out the door stuff. We're not doing that.
I'm thinking, okay, she got to go to work tomorrow. I ain't got to go. I'll in the morning, I'll leave. She leave.
But a lot of times people just don't want to deal with that conflict. Like I'm not going to open the door to give you way to exclude yourself from dealing with this. Like we don't have to deal with it tonight. Tonight you can go sleep on the couch. You can go sleep. We got a bedroom, sleep in another one of them bedrooms. You can sleep on this floor. I don't care. But you're not going to leave this house. And so a lot of times we instead of just dealing with it, we walk out. We mad for 3 days. We ain't talking to each other. We sit there in the house, rolling our eyes at each other, and I ain't gonna make you no dinner. I mean, you age me back. You building on it. Like why? And then by the time you go back and look at it, you realize that this thing was so daggone small. It was such a misunderstanding. But until we communicated about it, now we done made it all big for no reason. Why? No, I don't play that. You ain't walking about this door. Because if I let you walk out this time, then every time we have an argument, you feel like it's okay to walk out and come back. You ain't come back in 3 days. You will come back in, this door will be locked. I don't do that. I don't play that.
No. Y'all funny.
Now, Ra'chel, you mentioned making appointments. And so I want to just touch on that.
I like that.
Making appointments for conversations, that was deep. But how do you ensure that you all have you make time for yourself? Like, do you schedule dates? Do you what do you all do?
Yeah.
You know what? I told him recently, probably last year, and I reiterated it a lot last year. Like, I want you to date me again. Like, because we weren't really going on a lot of dates. Like, we were so involved in ministry and business and work and everything else that I literally made it a point to tell him. And to the point where we would go out and we would go places, and he'd be like, "Is this a date?" I said, "No, this ain't no date. This don't count. This don't count. This no date.
Go to Wendy's.
Just because we sat inside, this wasn't no date.
We sit down at Wendy's. This is a date."
So I had to make sure I let him know, nah, bro, don't count this one. This ain't a date. And so I had to really let him know, I need you to date me again. And so we started something this year. I told him probably at the end of last year, maybe around like October, November, I said, this is something that I feel like we need to do. And I said, every month we need to go somewhere. you know, and we need to spend time and shut down. Like we don't talk to anybody else on the cell phone. We kind of just, you know, spend time together. We, you know, whatever we decide we're going to do. And it don't have to be nowhere expensive.
Yeah,
nowhere far. It could be, we going to another part of Maryland. You know, I think the first one we did was in October, actually. October was my birthday. And we went to Columbia,
Maryland.
Anybody know Columbia? Columbia from us is like an hour. It's like an hour drive. But we felt like we was away. You know, we stayed somewhere else. We went to dinner. We went to the
Cheesecake
movie.
Factory and
you know,
Timbuktu.
Yeah. And we just kind of break away, you know, and forget about ministry for a second. Forget that we got kids for a second, grandkids. We forget about the businesses. Like everything else is off the table for that brief moment. And it's just us. And I thought I was gonna have to fight him nail and tooth because, you know, I don't know. I just thought I was gonna have to fight him, and I really didn't. He was like, "Oh man, this is great." He started playing the next one. He said, "All right, so the next one we gonna go." He didn't plan whole
with the South Carolina in January.
And so we decided that once a month is gonna be too much for us right now, you know. But we're gonna transition ourselves to it. We said every other month. So every other month from October, we've been planning something and something to do every month that is just the two of us.
Well, we said every other month.
That's what I said, every other month. Yeah, just to get away because we know that we need that time. You know, with no distractions, you know, and we don't talk about, you know, we may talk a little business, we may talk a little church, but most of the time it's just about us having a good time, having fun, waking up when we want to wake up, taking a couple naps, like, you know, whatever we decide that we want to do, we take a break from life because I know I need that one-on-one time with him. You know, and I crave it, and I tell him when I need it. You know, I tell him, you know, look, I tell him even when I need some, you know, a booty call. I tell him that too. I said, look, today, I need it today. Whatever time today you gonna give it to me, I need it today. You know, and you gotta be open with your spouse in that way to be able to tell them when you need something, well, whatever that need is. You know, I need a hug. I'll make him hug me. I'll just come and get in his arms and make him hug me because that's what I need at that moment. You know, or you know, whatever it is, because it's important. You have to make that time. You know, because time get away from you, and then next thing you know, I started noticing it when our youngest son was, you know, he was getting an age and he was grown. You know, at certain time they don't hang out with your mommy and daddy no more. And I started thinking like, well, dang, what's our relationship gonna be like when the kids gone? You know, because we're so family oriented that everything we did was for the kids. We did for the kids. You know, I don't even think we took many trips when our kids was young because my husband over here talking about we can't go nowhere until he like 13. What? All the people that can babysit him, like we can't travel nowhere, and he stuck by it. He stuck by it. I don't think we started really traveling, and we had a passport. Probably from the time we got married, never used it. Never went nowhere because he was so family oriented and ministry oriented. He was just, it was all about that. That it was like, okay, now it's time for us. Now we have to rebuild and grow together again. You know what I'm saying? So now we're learning each other all over again because everybody gone is just us, you know. And so you have to make that time. You have to.
Right.
Yeah. What she said.
Your brother-in-law said that it was his idea that y'all have date night. I'm looking at the comments.
That must be Pat.
Pat.
You know, Pat, I don't know about that, Pat. Well, I will say this: Pat will try to drag anybody anywhere. He is like you. He always wants to do something or go somewhere. You know, so
it just be crazy stuff. Like let's go to the monument and ride the bikes.
Yeah, he want to go to the monument at night and ride the scooters.
Like those scooters, he wanted to ride those segways.
You know? Yes, you're right. Yeah, so so I give him a little credit on that. You know, he will try to, you know, push us on a hold to, you know, for everyone to do something. So
he do. He'll get us out the house.
Yeah, he will definitely do that. Yeah, absolutely.
And we got Minister Irish on here and Hefe and Justine.
Hefe's on.
So that brings me to this question. So when you have a relationship, how important is the friends and the friendships that you have? And should they be different from when you were single?
Good question.
That's good. The friends are very important because they almost become like family.
Yeah.
You know, because you hang out with them all the time, you do stuff with them all the time, you know. And so for me, I'm very big on I'm mindful. I try to be mindful of who I am hanging around, you know, and because they see you at your most vulnerable states, they see you when you down, they see you when you up, they see you every little mistake you make, they right there, you know. Right. And so it's very important to know the circle that you're in, you know, and sometimes the circle that you're in is good, sometimes the circle that you're in is bad, and you have to be very discerning about, you know, who you allow in. And even though they're in your circle and your immediate thing, doesn't mean that they always have to be in every facet of your relationship either. Right. You know, I have some couples and some friends that, you know, we can go out to dinner, we can have a good time, but that's where it ends, you know. And I have some couples that if me and him going through, y'all can come over here. We can have a deep conversation and y'all can help us work through it, you know. And so it's about the friends that you have around them. Know the place that they have with you. And I'm good at compartmentalizing people. I can compartmentalize of my friends who I can go to and talk to about certain instances, and who I know I can't open my mouth and say nothing about this because everybody gonna know about it, you know. And so I'm very good about knowing who's in my circle and who I can share with, who I cannot share with, who I can open my whole door to, and who can only come to this part of the door. And so I think that's important in any friends that are around your circle, is knowing your circle, you know.
And I think, you know, friendship is good because sometimes it gives you, I guess, a deviation, you know, from your partner. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes just a little getaway, you know, you know, from, I guess, the monotony, you know, of the same routine, you know. And so you know, you can lean on your friends to help kind of break that or what have you. And you know, it's not that you're shunning from your spouse or what have you, but you know, again, sometimes it serves just as a getaway, you know, a getaway. And then, you know, you come home and, you know, you deal with your spouse. You know, so sometimes it's a deviation.
I was saying, I do feel like there are times when there are certain relationships that you should probably break away from. You know, anybody who doesn't respect my marriage, they not gonna be in my circle. You know, if I start to see disrespectful behaviors against my spouse, or you know, you coming on to me, you getting cut. And I'm like that with anybody. I can have a friendship with somebody, a male. I can have a friendship with a male. You know, I work with a lot of males, you know, and we might have conversations, but as soon as you cross that line, I'm cutting you. Like you don't respect my relationship. So I think that's with anybody, any person that's in your circle that doesn't respect the fact that I'm married. Yeah. That's my spouse, you know. And my husband, he don't play. You know how you got them games that you play with spouses, and you know, you got these little card games, and they might say, I think one time somebody said, well, if we had to switch wives, my husband was like, we ain't switching no wives.
Don't play that.
Like, we ain't gonna play that. Ain't nobody switching to get Ra'chel.
Throw that card out this.
So he don't play with stuff like that. He said, and they be like, "Baby, we just playing, we just saying." Like if I had Ra'chel, you know, I said I would tell you no, just like your wife said no. Matter of fact, you wouldn't, you know, like we joke like that. But my husband, he shut it down in a minute. Like no. He don't play. So you have to, you know, set your boundaries. You have to set your boundaries, absolutely. Even in your friendships. Like I only got a couple people on my fingers that I can absolutely go to and talk with them about everything that's going on in my relationship. And I can trust them. Yeah. And it just is what it is. But you have to compartmentalize.
So Proverbs 18:24, a man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. So I wanted to use that as a segue to asking about family. So we just talked about friends, right? Yep. Does this differ for family? or do all the same rules apply? Like, are all family free to be in your business just because they family?
No, not at all. The same applies. No, not at all. There has to be even boundaries with family as well. Family have to know their place. If they don't, you have to tell them their place or put them in their place. I for one don't. I don't share much about what goes on with us, pretty much with anyone. Because frankly, I don't feel that it's really anyone's business or what have you. But even more so, I think the same thing applies with family. Family has to know their place, and if they don't, it's our responsibility, to put them in place. And you can do it in a godly way, but no, I absolutely think that they family has to be held at bay just like anyone else, and so they may not like it, but my marriage is more important.
Yeah. Right. And some people can't handle what you go through. Like everybody can't handle every argument that you have. Everybody can't handle, some of the things that you talk about. Everybody can't handle everything that my spouse shared with me. So if he opens up and he tell me some of his deepest, darkest things, and then I go share it, like I'm no better than nobody else. Like there's some things that need to stay in your household. Like that nobody should ever know about. Because if I was vulnerable enough to open up to my spouse, I'm out there. I'm out there now, like on a ledge. Like I want to make sure that whatever I share with you, I don't want nobody ever know about this. Like I'm sharing with you, and so there are some times where, there are some things that just need to stay in your household. And then there's some things that you can share, like, if you need advice or you can't figure out what to do, or, but you got to know that circle. You got to know those people. And them people ought to be praying for you. They ought to be secret keepers. They ought to be able to, not look at my spouse and judge him based off of what or I have, I've shared with you. You got to have those trustworthy people in your corner. And those are the only people that you should share some of the things that go on in your relationship with. Outside of that, if you don't know, I would say don't even talk about it. But if you know that based off of previous, things that you shared and they kept it and they, all right, girl, we're going to pray through this, or I got you, we're going to figure this out, or did you try this, or they giving you good advice, or they giving you good, well, I like the friends that I have, they will tell me, well, Ra'chel, did you think about it like this? And so I don't even have people that are yes people to me. I don't want people in my corner that's just people to me. I want people to give me a different perspective. Like, well, I understand where he coming from. Did you think about it like this? Or you need to go back and apologize because you was dead wrong. Like I want them type of people in circle, and so, it's important to know who those people are, and those are the people that need to know exactly what's going on.
And my thought process is, if they don't know, they'll be fine.
That's true.
Well, it's not going to change anything. They'll be fine without knowing, So
you funny.
I just don't tell them.
Well, women are more sharers anyway than men.
Yes.
And men got that one person maybe that makes something. They got that. But women share way a lot more than men do. Some women run their mouth way too much. We talk about way too much. Like nobody should know how good he is in bed. Nobody should know what his finances. Like it's certain things that just I don't need to know. And so a lot of times you have to be so smart about the people that are around you and looking at you, and you have to make sure you are smart about what you share.
Absolutely.
Because we together. If you look bad, Cal don't play that. Yeah, you sure don't. And so if we won. When I walk out the house, he walk out the house. He should represent me, and I should represent him. So whatever I share about him changes people's perception of him too.
Absolutely.
And so I'm his biggest protector. And he's my biggest protector. And I look forward to always protecting him. I don't play that. I'll tell people, I take a post down. I don't like it. I don't play when they come to him. I don't play.
Right.
So one thing with she and I, we share a lot of stuff with each other, obviously, and we hold one another accountable. And so she's not a yes person. I'm not a yes person. And for me, I don't know how she feels, but for me, sometimes I gotta swallow my pride because I'm like, I really don't want to tell you this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I really actually need your feedback. But sometimes I just want to be right. So if I don't say it, then I'll get to be right. But if I do say it, there's a chance that whatever decision I made was wrong. But I got to be vulnerable enough to say, well, I'm going to go ahead and take that chance because she's not going to lead me wrong. Or if she doesn't know, or she doesn't, then now we have an opportunity to discuss it. But had I kept it to myself, then, I just go down this rabbit hole and I may be dead wrong about something, whether it's dealing with our finances, dealing with a business opportunity, dealing with us personally. We talk about everything. And that's why even in this short amount of time, like you are, we know, that we're for each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you think about it, I mean, we are married, but we are business. No business is going to have president and not discuss the future of our state without the vice president. Like they make decisions. You know what I'm saying? They talk about all of the ideas together. They talk about how we going to make this move together. They talk about, what does our income look like together? You know what I'm saying? So, even though we're married and he is the head, at the end of the day, he should talk to me about all of the decisions that he's even thinking. We just had a big thing that he was warm with and he was trying to figure it out, and he called me and I was like, well, what if we did this? And we strategized, you know what I'm saying? And you got to do that sometimes, because sometimes even like the decision that he may make may not be the best decision, but when we strategize, I may give him good insight.
Right.
I may give him another perspective that he didn't think about that may say, that's a good idea. Just like we do at work. We do it all the time. We say, about this, like, I think if we just took this and did this, and maybe if we talk this through right here or move this over here, like, I feel like we can make this work. That's the same thing we have to do in marriages. So when you look at our marriage as this is a business, and we either gonna make it together, we're gonna be broke together, we're gonna survive together, we're gonna struggle together, like we in this together, like, and so you have to talk about those tough things, or those, and it helps us. Like, how do I know how to help you if I don't know what you're thinking, or where you're going, or where you think we're going, And so a lot of times, just like my director, I'm like, I get upset with her sometimes. I'm like, what is she all over the place? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't even know how to respond. I don't know how to. And so to me, to be a good leadership over this company here, I need to know exactly where we're headed.
Where we're going.
I need to know what your thought process is so that I can be the helpmate that I'm supposed to. But if I don't know, I can't help.
That's right.
And you frustrated and you trying to figure it out, but you don't have to figure it out or be frustrated by yourself. Like, he gave you somebody who got brains, that's smart, that has been through life just like you have, like the same way you are smart and you got. I got it too. So tap into what you have. You're connected to somebody who's just as powerful as you are, and so you got to tap into it both ways. So
exactly. Yeah,
that's good.
So I wanted to follow that up with a scripture, and then we're actually at that time, but. So Minister Irish gave us a great
that's not Irish.
What she say?
She said we need to continue this conversation. So
part 2.
Yeah. So if that's okay with y'all, I would love to have you all converse again. But
Yeah, it actually went a whole lot faster than I thought. Like,
I know.
Yeah,
it does go by quick, and I don't want everybody to be on here for 2 hours or whatever. But we are going to go over a little bit. So let's just say 10 more minutes. Okay.
Yep.
So to you all's point, so 2 are better than 1. This is coming from Ecclesiastic 4:9-10. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up, but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up.
Yeah.
And in the Bible, how it talks about a 3-strand cord cannot be broken. And so people look at that and like, well, that doesn't apply to couples. Well, you got the male and the man and the wife. Be very clear. The male man and the wife, and the female wife, and God.
Right.
And so when you have those 3, anything else, it's not going to cut it. It's not going to sever it. It's not going to fray it. It may fray it, but that's it.
Right.
That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's it. Another thing that I was talking to LaMarr about when we first got into it, and I had already declared that this is my wife.
That's right. You better claim that more.
Like I said, the first time I met her daughter, I said, your mom's my wife, right? And I told her mom. I don't know if I told her mom that same day or if I told her the next visit.
I think you told her the next visit.
But I said, your daughter's my wife. She said, oh, you want her? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I think she's a believer now. But talk about that scripture about what a wife is. And I'll start off. So when I read the scripture, let me find it. But when I read that scripture, I'll just do that.
I like that. Y'all already called each other babe.
So a wife is just put.
Okay.
A wife, in my opinion, from my understanding of that scripture, is already created before she gets married.
Right.
A wife is a mentality. A wife is not just a position, but a posture, right? And so when a man finds a wife, so that means she was already a wife, right? When a man finds a wife, he finds it a good thing, right? I think I said that properly.
No, you did.
So when I met her and I determined, and God revealed to me that this she's the one. I had no problem calling her a wife already. Like, no, she don't have a ring on her finger. No, we haven't crossed any, whatever y'all do, jump the broom, or we haven't done none of that, right?
Yeah.
But she is a wife, even though she's never been a wife. She's never been married, but she is a wife, and I can see that in her. And then I just add the my on there. Yeah. Because I know that this is my wife. This is who, at this time in my life, if everything was supposed to happen exactly as it happened. I'm not discounting my first marriage or anything like that. That happened, and unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, it made it to the 22 years, and then that was it. And then I found myself, and I was able to really discover myself even more. And in that time, she's dating, but she's not married, and she's still discovering herself. And she's, like she said, building businesses and writing books, and making sure her daughter's good. And she told me, I was just resolved to live vicariously through my daughter, just make sure she had a good relationship, right? Yeah. And a lot of women, and maybe even men too, unfortunately, have that mentality, and they end up living that out because they don't want to seek a relationship because of previous hurts and things like that.
Right.
So there's really no question in this, except the fact that, you know, the wife piece. So what do you all say about that scripture?
Well, you want to go first?
Or
you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll come at you.
When I hear that scripture, what I hear is that this woman is whole. You know, and a lot of times when you go into a relationship,
say that again.
It when I hear that scripture, it makes me feel like this woman is whole. You know, a lot of times women come into relationships thinking, oh, if I only had a husband and da 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 da, or if I had this and we could do, you know, you look for those different things, but when you are already a wife, you're already whole. Like you already are made for the situation that God is getting ready to bring you into. Like he does not make me. I'm already made.
Right.
I didn't make him. He's already made. You know, and so we come together two whole individuals, and then we can build because we're whole. Like when you're not whole and you didn't take the time to become a wife, then there's things that we got to deal with in order to build you up to be a wife or to build you up to be a husband, because you still doing stuff that you was doing when you were single. You weren't ready to be a husband. Like, you know, I'm still doing stuff that I would, you know, I'm not caring about, you know, coming home, or I'm not caring about doing this. That means that you wasn't ready to be a wife or to be a husband. But when you come into a relationship and you're already whole, you already got you know, and I don't mean like you got your finance together. You got your mentality together. When you come into it, if I come in here whole, that means I'm already ready to take on the cares of another person. And to manage the cares of another person, it makes the relationship, we can now build on something, because I'm caring for another individual and not being selfish, and this person is built to care for another individual and not be selfish, because we're already whole, we're already made. Like I know who I am, you know who you are. We don't have to fight each other's personalities, we don't have to fight each other's insecurities, we don't have all that stuff, because why? I'm already made to be a wife. And so when I think about that scripture, I think this is a whole woman. She's whole in knowing who she is. She knows what she brings to the table. She knows what she can offer. She knows how she can make this, you know, our relationship better. She knows how she can make our home better. She knows how she can make our children, you know, she's already whole. She does. It's not like I'm not saying we don't need work. Everybody needs work, but it's different from being totally broken and coming into something, looking for somebody to make you whole. Because I guarantee you, they'll never make you whole.
Never.
They'll never fulfill that void of what you're looking for. You know, I didn't come into this I didn't have a void. I was good. I didn't even need him at the time. I was like, God, if he ain't mine, like, you know, don't even give him to me. Like I need to know that you sure that this is mine. Because why waste my time? I'm good by myself. I'm good. And it's not about being so independent. It's not about I'm so independent that I don't need nobody. No, that wasn't it. Because I did want a relationship with somebody eventually, and I did want to be loved, and I did want to, you know, because I had broke off relationships to get myself to be whole. You know what I'm saying? I took the time to let go of some relationships that I was in, to take that time by myself to become whole and to become a wife. And so a lot of times when you take that time with God to settle yourself down, learn who you are, know what you like, know what you want, come into it knowing what you like and what you want, then you won't settle for anything less, and you'll be able to walk into the blessings that God gave you. Why? Because I'm whole. He built me to be a wife for you at this appointed time. You know, so when that time comes, I should already be a wife. I should already be whole. I like
what the word says in Proverbs 31:11-12 in the NIV about a wife. It says her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. One thing I can say is that we walk together and she undergirds me. Okay.
Say that again, because I ain't never heard that. Go ahead and say that again. I'm ready to hear you say that again.
We walk together and she undergirds me like.
Ooh, that's a big word. That's a good word.
Like that's a be like that.
You might get something that undergird. That undergird just got me all excited right there.
All right, let's cut off. Let's off right now.
but she pushes me, again, if I have some type of crazy idea or something like that, we'll talk about it, but she'll be right there to, again, undergird me and help me to get into that goal. Like when we bought our first investment property in Baltimore a few years back, we had to come out of the pocket with over $50,000 cash. And so I went to her, and I'm thinking she gonna be like, man, he crazy, that's a lot of money, But you know what? There was really even no pushback. She said, baby, I trust you. I trust you got the best interest at heart for our family, and if that's what you feel like doing, she's like, do it, So she, as a wife, she supports me. I really don't have to worry about anything, she takes care of me.
You doing it, baby. You doing it, baby.
She takes care of me, but she makes sure I have what I need, and that's what a wife should do. That's one of the good qualities of a wife. Again, she's right there to help push me, in whatever it is. We'll talk about it, and she'll give me her opinion, but most of the time, she's right there in agreement with me. And we do what thus saith the Lord, So that's a good quality of a wife. I got to say that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is the last scripture I'm going to say, and then we're going to do this quick thing called mind. I don't know what it's called. I'll tell you. But anyway, mastermind. Yeah.
Mastermind.
And then we'll close out after that. But so this is from Proverbs 18 and 21, and I'm reading this because of this comment that came across. Speak it into existence, my wife.
Right. That's right. Answer
my
that.
sister.
Yeah.
And so, my question is, how important is your word, speaking? But from Proverbs 18 and 21, it says, this is the ASV, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. How important is your word, and how powerful are your words in relationships?
Wow. In relationships, your word is everything. Your word is what keeps the relationship going. And what I mean by that, when you say a word or what have you, or express something, you have to live by that. You have to live up to that. And again, our words should be for uplifting and upbuilding, and not to tear down. It wasn't too long ago that we preached on that same scripture. Either you can speak death into someone, or you can speak life into someone. So you have to be careful about the things that you say. If you say the wrong things, it's hard to come back sometimes and cover that up, or it's hard sometimes to come back and take that back. So we have to be careful about how we communicate to one another. The Bible says to let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. But our communication should be for upbuilding and uplifting. And that's how we should be communicating and speaking to one another. I've never said anything to talk down about her whatsoever.
You never called me out my name. And I think that's what helps our communication too. It's the word, but it's the words, like the words that you say to me, the words that you say about me when you speak about me,
and how you say it, and how you communicate has a lot to do with it. So your word is very important, because again, they say sticks and stones may break my bone, but words may never hurt me.
Yes, they will.
That's not true. Words can hurt. Words can hurt. So we have to be careful about what we say. We have to be careful about how we say it, and make sure that, again, our communication is for uplifting, for upbuilding for one another. So our word in our relationship is very, very, very important, because again, our words can tear us down, but our words can build us up. But it's all depending on how we do it, how we use it, and how we say it.
And it breaks my heart sometimes when I see couples tearing each other down. You know, when I hear them, the way they talk to each other and be like, oh, you beat, I'm like, what? Like, that's your wife. Like, how could you, you know, it bothers me because people don't realize how much you build up. That stuff builds up in you, you know, and you know, the fact that he thinks that I'm worth so much that he doesn't want to tear me down. And he doesn't want to call me out of my name, or he doesn't want to talk with his voice so elevated with anger. You know what I'm saying? That means that I'm worth a lot to him. That shows his worth. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't talk to everybody any kind of way. You talk to people certain kind of ways when you feel like you can get away with it, or you know, when you're trying to overthrow your power. He never overthrows his power. You know, he is my head honcho. He is. But he doesn't overthrow his power. He doesn't have to talk loudly with me and say, you better, you know, cook my dinner. You won't get no dinner. But I mean, you know, but he doesn't have to do that, you know. And when you have good communication, we can talk and not, you know, talk at each other or talk to break them down or to show that, you know, you ain't nobody. Like, really? Then that mean I'm with nobody. If I tell you I'm you nobody, then that means I'm with nobody. What did that make me? I'm a nobody catcher, you know. And so, you know, I love the fact that he doesn't have to and chooses not to.
Even in having that mentality, though, if the person calls you nobody, they must be a nobody because you're still in the mindset that you guys are one. Right. So it's like, you know, and that's good, even though obviously, you know, that was from a negative perspective, but you're still saying, hey, we won. So if I'm a nobody, you're a nobody too. So we just get to be nobody together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So the next time, I know one thing we'll talk about, which is a touchy topic with a lot of people is roles and responsibility. Well, just roles basically. Like you know, the responsibilities of the woman, wife, and the responsibilities of the man, male, husband.
That's
in
a good topic.
And position. You know, some people don't like that men say that women are supposed to be what's the term? I don't want to. Submissive. Submissive. Right. That word has been demonized. Been demonized, and it's. I think, you know, hopefully we get a chance to clear the air. With that, so I hope you guys would have us have this conversation again.
Absolutely.
Hefe said he wants to be invited on.
He told me that. He actually told me that the other day. I was like, I don't know about that, man.
You know, that would be a good call. I'm gonna have him and Justine on one day because
he said, "Tell Dr. Mo, I'm upset that he didn't ask me to be on." I was like, that might have been a good thing.
Oh, I love it.
So maybe we can work something out, and we'll all be on one day or something like that. So maybe we can do that.
Yeah, we can do that. Most of. All right, so this little section is called Mastermind, and so what I'm going to do is spew out several different phrases, and after I say a phrase, you just say what the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. I don't want you to really think too hard on it because it's supposed to be top of mind.
Okay. Right? Okay.
And if y'all remember back in the day, the dating game.
Yeah.
So I've never done it with a couple, so this should be interesting. There's no right or wrong. Y'all may not get any of the same answers, but it's all in fun. All right. All right. So I'll read one. You read the next one. Okay. So favorite color?
Purple for me, of course.
Maybe pink. I don't really have one.
Like me. Memorable book or author?
The Bible, Jesus Christ. That's all I read.
All right, I should exclude that. But
I read a book called I think it was called what's that? No, we need that book. It's out. That book is out already.
It's out.
Oh yeah, we need to get that book.
Okay.
But I did read a book
so
called
the Bible.
Faith by Fire. Faith by Fire was a really good book.
Faith by Fire. Okay.
All right. Person you trade. I already know this. See, Rachel already answered this question, so we're gonna just say it just for formality. Person you trade places with for a day.
Nobody.
I can't think of anyone. Yeah.
All right. That was the same answer that Cat Williams gave, Rachel. Nobody.
Nobody.
All right. Go ahead.
Vacation fantasy.
Don't have one.
An island that somebody don't know about and ain't been there before. I like to go there.
Okay.
I like weird destinations.
Okay.
All right. This is revealing the biggest risk you've ever taken.
Paying $50,000 for the house.
That's a risk. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Rachel?
Oh, my bad, Rachel.
I don't know.
Okay, don't think too
I
hard.
don't know.
Marrying this dude that you didn't really know?
I was gonna say that, yeah. That was a risk. But it was a risk worth taking.
We'll talk about that too, like how fast or how soon.
Okay, yeah. So next time we also want to talk about the speed in which you all courted and went through with all that, and like, does time matter?
Right.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, because people say, because our relationship is new and it's moving fast.
But we're running. I mean,
and we are running. And I was trying to pump the brakes because I was saying my mentality was it's just too fast. You know, I at least need to know you for about a year, and you know,
right. Yeah.
I had this whole time line, but it's not working like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That used to be my thinking. So I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm with you.
All right.
You want number 6?
Childhood celebrity crush.
Common.
T-Bars.
That's me, Common.
Okay. All right.
Common. It still is.
That's my
I don't see what she sees in them.
You ain't got to, baby. You ain't got to.
All right. Best compliment you've received.
You look good in black.
Okay.
I get a lot of compliments on my hair. Like, oh my God, your hair is so beautiful. Like when different hairstyles I wear, I love those are my best compliments.
Okay. And those of you at home, y'all can be playing this too.
I know, right?
Just shout out the answer to your friend, your mate, whoever. All right. Who motivates you?
TD Jakes.
Okay.
TD Jakes.
I have a lot of motivators.
Me too.
Pick one.
Call on one.
Pick one.
Take a long time to have a lot.
I don't know.
Right.
I have a lot of. I do. I have.
Right.
I have a lot of people that motivate me.
You can say pass.
Pass. Yeah.
All right. Worst advice you've ever gotten.
Don't tell your husband everything.
That's good.
Yeah.
You want to pass?
Yeah, I better pass on that
one. Your relaxation method. How do you relax? And y'all going slow. Y'all, come on.
I said sleep.
Being on my phone.
His phone.
Okay.
Oh, Wayne said he motivates you, Cal.
Tell him nay.
All right. Something you wish you were better at.
Yeah, we're sucking at this.
I feel like I wish I would. I think people say I'm stylish, but I think I wish I was more stylish.
Okay.
So that's one thing I wish I was better at.
All right.
I got to
pass. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish I was better at doing stuff around the house. How about that?
Oh gosh, I wish that. Yeah, that would be good. That would.
Y'all in agreement?
Okay.
The light bulb, like getting them things on. Yeah, boy. Yeah, we gonna pray on that one.
All right. Something.
That's why I got Hefe though.
Right.
I got Wayne.
Right. Exactly. See? That's right. You bring in people if you can't do it.
That's right.
Put somebody in there. Where are we?
Who?
Oh, who? This is a setup one. Who would you want to be on a deserted? Who would you want to be stranded on a deserted island? I already know the answer. Next.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Something most people don't know about you.
I'm shy.
Oh wow.
Shy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What? Tell me something.
Oh Lord, Jesus.
She said, "Come see." She gotta ask.
I don't know.
Your nickname.
Let's eat a cow. That's easy. You know that.
No.
What's the nickname?
What your mama call you?
Oh, Lamont?
Yeah.
That's my middle name though.
Yeah,
you know
a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, abundant mentality versus lack mindset. Which one are you?
Abundant mentality.
Definitely abundant mentality.
Mm-hmm. All
right. What's your guilty pleasure?
Man, chicken, cheese, steak, and fries.
I was about to say ice cream.
I was gonna say
popsicles in the middle of the night, boy.
Yeah, I had 2 of them today.
All right. I'm gonna skip that one.
Okay.
Memorable quote, scripture, or saying. You don't have to quote it exactly, but like, give us the gist of it.
Well, it's got to be the motto of our church. Now the just shall live by faith.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think mine is just live life to the fullest.
Okay. Go ahead.
Words. I like that.
Oh, go.
Where? Right.
Do that one then.
All right. I just like words that describe you.
Using your first and last initial.
My first and last initials.
First and last initial.
Well, my first initial is C, so it's got to be cool. Last initial is E. Enthusiastic.
All right.
Okay.
What would R be? I think E would be elegance for sure.
Okay.
What R would be?
Radiant.
Radiant. Oh, radiant.
Yeah,
I can
there we
see
go.
that.
Radiant elegance. There you go, babe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last one. Last two. Europe or Egypt?
I think Egypt.
I would say Egypt.
I do Egypt too. Wildest adventure.
The safari. I've been on the safari. That was the wildest adventure.
Well, when we were in DR, riding them buggies or boogies, whatever they call them.
Them,
Yeah, that's part of my wildest adventure. Well, you know, I take them even while we were in the DR. We went on an excursion on the boats and we in the middle of the water and
yes,
in the water.
Yeah,
that probably could be it. Yeah, that had to be it for me. Yeah.
All right. So that ends our mastermind. Good job.
Thank you, guys. That was a good show.
So now we're just going to show everybody how they can contact you all. It's been scrolling across the screen. You can find them on YouTube at Believers of Faith Ministries or on Facebook at BOFM Ministries. If you want to reach out to Pastor Ra'chel, find her on Facebook at Ra'chel Edison and on Instagram at Pastor Ra'chel Edison.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to find Arthur LaMarr Taylor, singer also from Old School 203, find her on IG at LaMarr Taylor and on Facebook at LaMarr.Taylor, and LaMarr has 2 R's. And if you want to appear on this show, Hefe, you can call me directly.
We want to talk about that.
You can call me directly, but you all can contact us at 888-365 Mo or at info, preferably via email, info@mindovermatteryou.com. And lastly, I wanted to share what? Well, to speak of share, please like, share, and subscribe to our page so you can catch all the new episodes. We got a new episode coming up on the 28th, next Wednesday. Mm-hmm. It's going to be an author former taxi driver, former educator, former newspaper journalist, but now she's a artist, and she wants to talk about love. And then we also have coming up, and her name is Onita Jackson. And then we have Stacy Green, who's going to be on next week, and she has a very compelling and unfortunately sad story. Her mom was killed by a distracted driver. Mm-hmm. And when the person went to court to be convicted, Stacy, who is a believer of Christ, felt the need to forgive her, and not just forgive her because the girl lost her job and she lost a lot of stuff as a result of this incident. Stacy actually brought her under her wing and started mentoring this young lady. So we're going to talk to Stacy Green about that. This was in Georgia about a year ago, so most of you all may not have heard about that accident, but yeah. So we'll be having those shows. And then lastly, LaMarr and I are best-selling authors of the book. Here you go. All right, so we got the paperback.
All right.
And a hardcover. Number 1 bestseller on Amazon.
Rhythmic Revelations.
120 songs that resonate and elevate. So you can find that on Amazon, and that is the link right there. Or you can just look up Amazon, or look us up on Amazon, either one of us. And the paperback is $20.24 for this year, and the hardcover is $29.92. Just some arbitrary number that I came up with, but anyway. The link. Reach out to us, but we look forward to having you all. We thank all of our guests, all the comments. I didn't have any questions. Thanks, Hefe. I got you, bro. We look forward to having you all again. We'll schedule it. We'll make sure people get ample notice.
Yeah.
And we had a fantastic time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you, Ra'chel.
Yeah.
It was our pleasure, man.
So did y'all have any parting words that you wanted to share with audiences about relationship? Just one closing remark.
Keep God as your head. Again, keep open those lines of communication. Talk things out. Show each other love as much as you can. And yeah, man, just be there for each other.
Absolutely.
I'm looking on Amazon now, and I see the book.
Awesome.
Thank you.
No, y'all did an excellent job. I really enjoyed this. Absolutely. I cannot wait for part 2.
Yes.
Thank you.
I can't wait to hear the news. I can't wait to hear the news.
And so we have to talk about the time, Ra'chel. You got to help me out.
Okay. Well, we gotta hurry up because time is going by.
Right. Yeah. Y'all will know. Y'all knew her before most people knew her. Y'all knew all about her. Everything about her. So you first on the list. You know that.
Yes. I'm excited.
I just placed my order. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
That's right. Go ahead, babe.
All right. So thank you all again. Loved having you all on. Have a beautiful night. Thanks, audience, for staying on.
Everyone.
Extra 30 minutes. And we look forward to seeing everybody again on the Mo Mindful Show. This is your man, Dr. Mo, reminding you that your thoughts are your truth. And I'm out.